Joey Quinn returning as a main character. Harrison's now a police officer, and the New York Ripper may be a fraud. Let's talk about it. We got so much news on Dexter Resurrection Season 2. First things first, let's talk about some of these elite casting announcements. We have Uma Thurman returning as Charlie, Dan Stevens playing the Five Borough Killer, Bokeem Woodbine, forgive me if I pronounced that wrong, playing Captain Mixon, and Nona Parker-Jackson playing Fiona Mixon, who is rumored to be Harrison's love interest for the season. Then we obviously have the New York Ripper, which everybody knows by now. And speaking of which, we finally got our first official look at the New York Ripper, or supposedly. Now, as we know, the New York Ripper does not kill anymore. He just taunts his victim's family with phone calls. Which, I mean, looking at the character, it does fit his MO. So then if he's not going to be some big bad, what's really his point in the story? Well, there's two theories. The first being that he has an apprentice who's going to take on Dexter, and the second being that he's not actually the New York Ripper at all and that he's stolen valor. Which would make sense because I was expecting them to keep the New York Ripper a mystery, right? But they just announced him off rip, which was a little sus in my opinion, but it makes sense if he's not actually the Ripper and he's just straight up claiming to be. And we see the stolen valor for stuff like this all the time in movies and TV. So I 100% look at this as a misdirection. Now we also have our first look at Harrison, who's also now a police officer, Officer Morgan. And I think there's going to be a lot of turmoil for him specifically this season, trying to figure out his own identity, his own set of rules, his own code, right? Like not directly following in Dexter's footsteps, but not necessarily walking away from it either. And this also gets Dexter close to law enforcement again. He's going to always have the inside loop and know what's going on. I just hope they don't reuse the whole him and Deb storyline where Harrison's getting mad at him for stealing cases and whatever. But while we're on Dexter, we also get some information that he's going to be in a midlife crisis. And I mean, his resolution to that, instead of, partying, is probably going to be going after all these serial killers, especially the ones he stole the files on. I do hope the opening is him taking out the ponytail killer. But wait, that's not even the biggest news. The biggest news so far is that Desmond Harrington is back as a main character in this season. And this is huge. Now, I kind of suspected after Batista's death, nobody was just going to really let that go, especially from Miami. But Joey Quinn taking on the mantle, the one to pursue Dexter. But it gets so much more interesting because I am confident. I am 100% confident. Not a doubt in my mind. You put a gun to my head right now. Not a doubt in my mind. He knows that Dexter's the Bay Harbor Butcher. Fact. 100% fact. So unless there's sloppy writing and they retcon that, it has to play a huge part in the story. Especially for Quinn. He has to feel like morally torn, just super turmoil, especially if he feels like he should have spoken up all those years ago and never did. But I also find it interesting because I don't know if he necessarily disagrees with what Dexter does. I mean, we know he didn't like Dexter, right? In the original show, it started off, he did not like him. He thought there was something weird about him, very similar to Dokes. And then he obviously gets involved with Deb, and there's the whole storyline with him and Stan Liddy, and Liddy's investigating Dexter, and he finds out he's the butcher. Dexter kills Liddy. Joey's going to get in trouble for it. He has blood on his shoe. Dexter obviously removed that in forensics. Joey knows he did that. Like, he connected all the dots. He already knows at this point, right? And this is where he becomes okay with Dexter. And he actually shows him gratitude and he thanks him. And Dexter plays it cool, like for what? Like, I didn't do anything. But he knows the truth. I mean, there's too much going on, even from all the stuff with Dexter being Kyle Butler in that season. It's way too on the nose, and Joey is a detective at the end of the day, and he's street smart. He understands for sure. He knows that Dexter's the butcher. And on top of that, in the final season, when Dexter kills Oliver Saxton right inside the police station on camera, Joey knows about it, and he hits him with it was obviously self-defense. Like, come on. He knows at that point, 100, without a doubt in my mind. But it also gets interesting because he's actually from New York City. So he knows all the places Dexter doesn't. He has all the resources Dexter doesn't. And if he's in New York City as a cop, I'm sure he's going to have a lot of scenes with Harrison as well. And they'll probably talk a lot about Deb, and it'll get sentimental. But at the same time, he's playing this cat and mouse game with Dexter, similar to what Batista was doing. But what does he really do about it? Because he's known for all these years. And he's killed people in the line of duty. Again, just the way he is, coming from the streets. I don't really think he would disagree with what Dexter was doing. So it's going to make for a really compelling story between him and Dexter especially. But I mean, man, they're already filming. The more they film, the more footage comes out, the more pictures. It looks so good so far. And I mean, everything from Dexter to Midlife Crisis to Harrison joining the force, the New York Ripper story or the throw-off story, Quinn coming back, which is what people wanted for so long, and then him actually knowing that Dexter's the Bay Harbor Butcher. It's not like Batista where he just suspects it. He knows it for a fact. First-hand experience in that department, he knows it. And I'm locked in. But what do you think the relationship is going to be like with Quinn and Dexter? And what is your biggest prediction about season 2? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to follow for more videos like these, and I will catch you in the next one.